In this video, I'm just going to walk you guys through the three main programs we use: InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop, and have you look at the toolbars and get more familiar with the programs. So over here we have the selection tool, the direct selection tool, the magic wand, lasso tool, pen tool, curvature tool, area type tool, line segment, rectangle tool, paintbrush, shaper tool, eraser tool, rotate tool, scale tool, shear tool, width tool, puppet warp tool, shape builder, perspective, mesh, gradient, eyedropper, measure tool, blend tool, symbol sprayer tool, column and graph tool, artboard tool, slice tool, printing tiling tool, the hand tool, and the zoom tool. Right here, you're able to change your colors. And if your toolbar doesn't look like this, see these little arrows at the bottom? That means it's probably hidden behind something else. For example, the rectangle tool actually encompasses all of the shape tools. So if you wanted to make a circle, you just click on that rectangle and you can get the different shapes. And star tool, for example, if you use your keyboard, you can actually go down on sides and make that the triangle tool, or add as many star points as you want. If you guys cannot find something, look behind something else. Rotate tool and scale tool are often linked together as well. So if you ever can't find something, click on these arrows and start looking behind other things. And then there'll definitely be tools that you'll use more than others. There's some things on this toolbar that I never use and some things I use all the time. It just depends on how you like to draw, and you have to get familiar with where things are. So over here, and I've linked all of these together myself, I have my swatches palette, my gradient palette, and I also have brushes and my color guide. Stroke, transparency are also important. You can also see over here in properties, a lot of things will come up here, and layers. So you'll need to know how to work with your layers, and remember down at the very bottom here is how you add layers. You lock layers by toggling over here, and you can hide their visibility over here. Those are just some Illustrator basics that you guys need to get familiar with. If you cannot find something or figure out how to do something, either Google it, YouTube it, or start looking up here in the menus. Object contains a lot of important things that you'll need to transform. If I click on one of my objects, then I go here, you'll see I can scale it from this menu. You can also range, bring forward and backwards. And there's all kinds of other things in here that you'll need to start using as you get more comfortable with Illustrator. Copy and paste is also among edit, as well as undo and redo. Go over to Photoshop and we will look at the same thing. A lot of these tools are similar throughout the program. Here's another magic wand tool. Again, if you can't find it, it's probably hidden behind something. A magic wand tool will select anything that is similar in color. You can see as I click through how it selects these pieces together. And we used that in one of our recent projects to select colors. To deselect, you could just hit Command D on your keyboard. The lasso tool, as well as the tools associated with that, are all used similarly to the wand tool. They grab pieces of your photograph. So if you just want something like that, you can use the lasso and grab those pieces. The other tools do that same thing in different ways. This tool clicks and you can close the shapes. Whereas the lasso, you have freedom to trace completely around objects. And then the magnetic lasso actually will follow for you so that you don't have to do that yourself. It'll automatically trying to figure out what you're doing, and it knows I'm going to grab this orange flower, and then you click and it grabs the whole thing for you like that. You have the crop tool to crop an image. Again, eyedropper to select colors. As I click around down here, you'll see my colors change. You'll have a paintbrush. This is the healing tool, so if you would like to take something out of a photo and have Photoshop predict and fix it for you, you could use this tool, and it does a pretty good job. As you see it, I'm using it. Let me try something big so you can really see. Let me try to get this flower all the way out. That worked pretty well, and it predicts it for you by using, it's called the healing tool. The clone tool right here, which is a clone stamp tool, is similar. Only you have to tell it where to select from. So if you hold down Option and you click and then you start using it, you can see where it's sourcing from. As I click around here, it's always going to stay where I first clicked. Let me back up. There's also a type tool in Photoshop and a line tool, and there's also a pen tool and a fill tool and an eraser tool. So click around here, get familiar with the toolbars. Remember, if you can't find something, click that little arrow in the corner and look what's behind, as well as examining your menus for things. You also have your history palette where you can undo step by step in Photoshop, which is really handy. And you have your layers. And then another thing that you'll need to get familiar with are let me see if the name can pop up here as I roll over, the different layer adjustments. So see how I clicked on this circle that's half white and half black? Create new fill or adjustment layer, and I got hue saturation. And then when you click on one of these, it pops it up here where you can drag it and do that layer. And if you decide you don't like it, you can turn it off and hide it just like in Illustrator. And there's all kinds of different useful tools in here as well. Hopping over to InDesign, I have your Project 5 up as an example of a multi-page document. Same thing in the toolbar, a lot of similar tools. We have scale again. We have a pencil. We have the pen tool. We have the type tool. And again, your colors are down here. Something a little bit different. You have your pages and layers, effects, swatches, and you have character styles for text. And we'll get into InDesign more later. You also have in InDesign these top toolbars along the top where you get your features for type. This is similar to Word, if you guys are comfortable in Word, knowing that you do size and things like that here. You can also move these properties to the side if you like your work layout to be more like that. So between these three programs, you should start getting familiarity with this toolbar over here and different ways to find things. So make sure you go into these programs and explore the menus, explore the toolbar, and start playing around with where things are and how you do things. A lot of these things are consistent between program to program, and each program also does different things.